Have you ever played WTF Sudoku?
You mean WTF as in what the f?
Yes.
What the f is so all fired? What the f about Sudoku?
Regular Sudoku is played on a 9x9 grid with exactly one of every digit 1 through 9 in every row, column, and 3x3 grid.
So what?
WTF Sudoku is played on a 25x25 grid with exactly one of every letter A through Y in every row, column, and 5x5 group.
WTF. How can I play WTF Sudoku?
You can play it online at www.cybermansoftware.com/games. You can also buy a book of puzzles on Amazon.com. Just search for WTF Sudoku.
Book? You mean on paper?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's www.cybermansoftware.com/games or by searching for WTF Sudoku on Amazon.com?
Yes.
Hi, welcome to Freedom Rocks. Once more, we are doing candidate interviews with Libertarian Party candidates for Monroe County Legislature. And Drew, you are running in the 25th District.
That's right, the 25th.
Against Calvin Lee.
Calvin Lee is term limited out this year. I believe his name is Anthony Reed.
Anthony Reed.
The man who got the endorsement from the Democrats.
Huh, I don't know much about him.
Nobody does. Actually, I've been asking around, and nobody knows who he is. I'd like to meet him and talk to him.
All right. Well, I guess to start off the interview, I guess we'll talk about marriage equality, since you just came from the marriage equality rally, and
yes,
that was one of the big issues that you were planning to address in your campaign, that the Republicans have so heartlessly denied you the ability to do that by giving in and allowing gay marriage to pass.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as much as I don't like Republicans, I have to give credit where it's due. Grisanti and Alisi, you know, they did the right thing and voted in favor of this bill that just passed last night. Actually, I was sitting at Equal Grounds in my neighborhood, Equal Grounds Coffee Shop, celebrating and watching with a lot of my gay and lesbian friends, and then we were celebrating afterwards. And then today we had a rally at Washington Square Park, starting at noon, and that was a great time there. And we were really happy that the state Senate finally passed equality for all people. However, I guess there's still an issue. I was planning on running on this issue as one of my major issues because I feel like equality is something that is extremely important to human dignity, extremely important to America. I just can't imagine that there's any person in America, especially anyone who's born in America or a citizen of this great country, who should feel like a second-class citizen. They should have complete equal rights. And I'm really happy that finally the gay and lesbian community now have equal rights under the law, at least when it comes to marriage. The unfortunate thing is, it seems like that may still be an issue at the county level. I got to hear Sandra Frankel, who's running as a Democrat for county executive. She was actually speaking on this issue today, and she said exactly what I was going to say in my campaign. I wonder if she stole the idea from me. Yeah, so there still might be a little bit of a fight at the county level getting domestic partners the same benefits that spouses have. So we're going to have to look into that issue more as things unfold, and we'll see how this works out. But I'm really excited to have been able to celebrate with my gay and lesbian friends and to be a part of all of that. I've been working with the Marriage Equality New York group since January, collecting signatures to our state senators, and I got to work a lot at the public market. Maybe some of you have seen me at the public market gathering signatures with the Marriage Equality New York group. But we were targeting Senator Alisi and Grisanti, even though not very many people from Rochester or from the public market were from his district, but we were able to get through to Alisi, and because of Alisi, I think he was key, and it was Western New York that was key to getting that to happen. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rochester has a long tradition, right? It's Susan B. Anthony and women's rights, Frederick Douglass and the rights of, you know, all people, regardless of skin color, you know, to enjoy the same privileges and, you know, not go to separate schools and not have to pick cotton in the fields and all that sort of thing. So this is just, you know, in my mind, it's a kind of the exact same thing. And, you know, the fact that someone from Rochester like Alisi has played a key role doesn't surprise me a bit. So I have to admit, I didn't have I had about 30 seconds of preparation for this interview. I went to your website and I just visited your issues page and wrote down what I found there. So we've already covered marriage equality, but the first thing that caught my eye, which is very timely given the financial situation of people and units of government today, is stop wasting money. And how do you propose to do that?
Well, it's obvious that Monroe County needs to stop wasting money. One of the things that I would do is I'll work to identify and stop government waste and inefficiency on all the levels that I can. I really want to cut spending and not only cap property taxes, but cut property taxes. Now, the Republicans in the legislature have been patting themselves on the back for capping property taxes, and they're still some of the highest in the country. And they applaud themselves for doing that without cutting so-called quality of life services. Well, I say we need to go a step further. We actually need to cut property taxes. And I have a little bit of a plan on how to do that. But before we can cut those taxes, we have to cut spending. Well, before I even consider looking into cutting quality of life services, we need to cut the spending and cutting the bloated salaries of our elected officials. Ooh, that one's going to get me in trouble probably, but you know, I got to do what I got to do. Here's the issue right here. You know, the founding fathers of this country envisioned a citizen legislature, not a bunch of career politicians with inflated egos, bloated salaries, and a sense of entitlement, and sex scandals, but we won't go into that. We need to get back to the idea of elected officials being community servants, not their masters. So, according to the Census Bureau, the average household income in 2008 for Monroe County was about $58,000 a year. The average income per capita in the year 2000 for Monroe County was about $23,000 a year. I wasn't able to find any statistics that were more up to date from 2000, but I imagine it hasn't changed a whole lot. So I'm thinking, if that's the case, why are the people that we elect to represent us making up to 5 times that much? I think that's ludicrous. The county legislature makes around $18,000 as a part-time position. They say they work 6 hours a day, 6-hour days, part-time, and they're making $18,000. I worked last year full-time, and that's about what I made last year. And I really feel like we elect people to be our public servants, not our masters. And with the taxpayers struggling in this economy right now, we really need to do something about that and not allow our elected officials to have these bloated salaries, as well as their staff members. We could talk about that more, but I think we'll save that for later. But I mean, there's been some things coming out about people, you know, staffers making huge amounts of money, and there's other people making way too much money from the taxpayers.
All right, we've got about a minute left in this segment, so I don't want to get started on any new issues.
I could take this opportunity to introduce myself maybe a little bit, give you a little background information on myself.
Yeah,
I'm a preschool teacher, and right now I have a class of 3-year-olds, and I think if I can handle a classroom full of egocentric 3-year-olds, I can handle the county legislature. You can find my website at drew4monroe.com, 4 being a number, drew4monroe.com.
All right, and the website for this show is what you see at the bottom of your screen, and you know, as always, we don't get Nielsen ratings, so please visit our website, let us know what you think about the show, let us know if you have any ideas, what you'd like to see, what you don't like seeing it. Let us know how you feel.
Did you know high-quality versions of all episodes of Freedom Rocs are available on DVD? Each DVD contains 3 episodes for just $15. We also have specials that aren't on our CTV or YouTube. You can find links to all of our DVDs on the Freedom Rocs website, freedomrocs.cybermansoftware.com.
Hi, and welcome back to Freedom Rocs. We're here with Drew Beeman, Libertarian candidate from Monroe County Legislature in the 25th District. So the next issue that I wrote down from your website is supporting the Second Amendment, and I believe there's a specific proposal that you're considering. Yeah,
I would like to propose legislation or support legislation that would allow people with carry-conceal pistol permits to carry in county parks. The criminals are going to have weapons. Why can't people have the right to defend themselves? I just visited Vermont, and Vermont has very loose laws. I don't even believe they have to have a permit to carry openly. And I don't see a lot of people in Vermont carrying openly. I I don't see an issue, but they also have one of the lowest crime rates. They're very polite people up there, and you know the old saying that armed society is a polite society. Well, there could be some problems with that these days, but I think if we look at Vermont and we can see there's benefits to allowing people the freedom to have weapons to defend themselves. And I think we've been seeing some crime recently in Genesee Valley Park that could have been prevented if the criminals didn't already know that all the people in the park are unarmed except for them. So I think that's an issue that needs to be talked about, and we need to definitely allow people the freedom to carry. That's what the Second Amendment of our country says, and I say to all government officials on the national, state, and local levels, we're part of the phrase, shall not infringe, don't you understand?
Yeah, and plus, I mean, anyone who understands the New York State permit system realizes that, you know, it's one of the strictest in the country. I mean, these people, you have to have lived in the county for 3 years. You need, like, I believe it's either 3 or 4 references who have also lived in the county. Actually, I think it's 4. Pretty sure it's 4. Who've also lived in the county to, you know, say you're a good person. You know, the sheriff's office does a full background check, and apparently even have access to records which would technically be sealed under other circumstances. They do like a mental health check. You know, I mean, you know, to get a permit in this state, you have to be one of the most thoroughly vetted people in the whole country. You know, as far as these things go, and so it wouldn't. You know, I believe personally that, you know, anyone should just, you know, if you can carry outside the park, you should carry inside the park. But I mean, in addition, you know, we're not handing these out to psychopaths, and the psychopaths could just ignore the law anyway. So,
That's true.
The next issue I have is ending cannabis prohibition. I believe you had a specific proposal in that area as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is more of a federal and state issue, but I think there's something we can do in Monroe County. Like, here's the thing: if the majority of the people in our country, and especially in our county, think that marijuana should be legal, well, then we need to find a way in our county to stand up for that issue. And in Monroe County, there's only probably a couple of little things that we can do. I'd like to propose legislation that would make cannabis offenses the lowest law enforcement priority, meaning that if the police were called over an issue of cannabis being smoked or sold or grown or anything like that, that would be the lowest priority, that they would go get a cat out of a tree for one of the neighbors, you know, before they would ever go bust some house for growing marijuana, or for some people smoking marijuana, or even people dealing marijuana. It's such a benign drug. It's less dangerous than alcohol. I don't really see why it's illegal, but since it is illegal in New York State, we can stand up in Monroe County and say we're not going to enforce this ridiculous state law. And there are other places in the country that have these kind of laws, and I would probably model the legislation after some of those other places in the country that have these lowest law enforcement priority laws.
Okay. Did you say you had a second proposal in regard to that? Or did you just cover it?
Not that I know of. That was about all I had for that.
I think you said a couple of things. Maybe not. Privacy.
Yeah, privacy is an issue right now. I want to propose a countywide ban on the red light cameras. I think those are ridiculous. I think they're causing more problems than they're solving. I think they're causing accidents. Actually, there was a study that's proving that these red light cameras are causing more accidents, rear-end accidents at intersections. So I think it's important to ban those all across the county. The blue light police surveillance cameras, now that's another issue that I'm still trying to figure out what my constituency, you know, what they think about that. I've talked with different people that live in my district, and there's some differing opinion. I think we need a little bit more about that. At first, I wanted to ban it outright in the county if it was possible. There's probably some issues with that when it comes to city government and state government and law enforcement and everything. But I think those cameras are intrusive. They don't really do much to prevent crime, and they waste the taxpayers' money. But some people in my constituency feel a lot safer on their streets with those cameras. So we're going to have to do a little bit more talking about that issue. I do think that it would be, I would rather see a police presence. If you think there's a dangerous neighborhood that needs cameras, instead of recording us, then we should be having a police presence there. There's not much I can do at the county level when it comes to city police, but I can at least talk about that and make that an issue. If you know, the police, obviously, if you have been following recent developments in the news in Rochester, the police don't like being recorded. So what makes them think that they should be recording all of us as we're walking down the street?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think there was a similar issue. It was raised about a year ago with regard to GPS trackers. I'm not sure where that actually went, but the city wanted to put, so they could improve their logistics of dispatching cars, they want to put like a little location indicator, GPS thing in every police car so they would know where each car was. And the police officers were like, whoa, wait a minute. You just want to see if we're, going to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. You can't just be all big brother on us like that. And it's like, welcome to the club. But yeah, private charity, as I believe, is another thing that you want to encourage.
Yeah, I definitely want to encourage private charity, especially the people that live in my district. A lot of them are poor, very poor, and they're suffering. And I don't feel like the welfare state is doing what it needs to do for the poor. A lot of people criticize libertarians actually on this issue. They think that we don't care about the poor. They think that we're heartless capitalists and evil, but I don't think that's true. I think we do care about the poor. I am the poor. I mean, I'm one of them. Maybe not as poor as some, but I definitely think that private charities that help the people of Monroe County should be supported. And I think if we can do that through giving them tax credits, we'll have to figure out the double dipping issue, but we'll have to figure out how we can give these people tax credits for donating to private charities that are helping the people of Monroe County. And I'd like to strongly encourage the formation of new nonprofit local charities. I think there's a lot of things that we can do to help the poor and help other causes through private charity.
All right. Well, we've got about 30 seconds left in this segment. We'll be back for one more segment with Drew Beeman. As always, visit the website at the bottom of your screen. Let us know what you think. And pay attention to this important public service announcement. We'll be right back.
As you may have noticed, you can watch Freedom Rocs for free on RCTV or on YouTube, but it takes money to produce good quality TV shows. You can support Freedom Rocs by shopping at our Cafe Press shop. There you can find t-shirts for men and women, tote and gym bags, coffee mugs, beer steins, food and beverage thermoses, and a bunch of other items Cafe Press offers. You can find our shop at cafepress.com/freedomrocs, all lowercase and no apostrophe.
Hi, and welcome back to Freedom Rocs. We are wrapping up our show with Drew Beeman, candidate for Monroe County Legislature in the 25th District on the Libertarian line. We've gone through a number of issues. I'd like you to just touch briefly on the scandals and the issues of transparency that our county is facing. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I definitely think we need to end the scandals. I'm not going to go into all the details about all the scandals. I think people are aware of them. But we need transparency in government. This is a problem on all levels of government. We're finding all these scandals in Congress and all these scandals, the governor, blah, 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 scandal, scandal, scandal. This is a problem. I feel like there's a problem in this country with politicians who don't see themselves as servants of the people. They see themselves as the masters. They have a sense of entitlement. They feel like they can get away with anything and do whatever they want and hurt all the people in the process. And I just don't think that's okay. I don't think that we need more and more full-time politicians and people in each other's pockets and backroom deals and all this kind of stuff going on. And we're supposed to be citizens who care about our community, and that's what government's supposed to be about, and we need to get back to that idea. So I'm going to promote transparency however I can. I'm going to do that in my own campaign. I'm going to be transparent in my own campaign, and I'm going to be transparent in the county legislature if I'm elected. And I'm going to encourage the legislature itself to be more transparent, and all the individuals involved, all the committees that are there. We'll have to look into some of the details about how we're going to do that, but I definitely think there needs to be transparency in government.
Well, I think you've touched on an important issue there. I guess in a similar vein, you wanted to support conscientious businesses, which are businesses that are doing the right thing instead of just caring only about their bottom line and trying to enrich themselves like the politicians.
Yeah, I was thinking about this issue. I went to a community gathering where they were discussing gentrification in our city, and it made me think about how businesses come in and buy up properties, and individuals come in and buy up properties, and then people can't afford to live in those neighborhoods anymore, and you know, and a lot of businesses are leaving the area, so they're leaving a lot of people jobless, and I think we need to promote conscientious business. We need to be business friendly. We don't need to be against business. A lot of people on the left and a lot of people that care about our community are very much against business and corporations, and I understand that to some degree because there's a lot of very corrupt businesses out there and corrupt corporations, and but we do need to have jobs in our county, and one of the things that I think we can do is that we can support conscientious businesses, meaning that we would come up with some kind of criteria that these businesses would need to live up to in order to get some kind of tax breaks. You know, and I mean support as well, not just with tax breaks, but we need to talk about it. We need there to be a dialogue about it. As much as we bitch and moan about, can you say that on TV? As much as we bitch and moan about, you know, big business and corporations, you know, we should be talking about these wonderful businesses that are doing good to their employees, you know. So I'd like to see businesses be a little greener, and I'd like to see businesses do really well by their employees. And so I'm not sure I'm aware of which businesses are doing that right now. We're not sure what criteria I want to look at necessarily, but I would like to see a way that we can really support conscientious business to bring jobs to Monroe County.
All right. Well, I think we've gone through all the specific issues, so we've got a few minutes left. If you had anything miscellaneous you want to touch on, or
yeah, I would actually like to hear from the people that live in my district. There's a lot of issues that they're concerned about that I'm not really aware of, or haven't made an issue about it myself for my campaign. But I definitely would like to hear from them, and they can reach me at drew4monroe@yahoo.com, and the 4 again is the number 4, drew4monroe@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website drew4monroe.com.
All right.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the Greater Rochester Libertarian Party as well. We are running 3 candidates for county legislature this year. If you go to our website, rochesterlp.net, there's a candidates page you can click to with links to the 3 candidates' websites. You'll probably see me around at the public market and other places all throughout the summer and up until the election. I'm going to be probably looking a little crazy with this big sign hanging down from my neck about the Operation Politically Homeless. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it's there's the world's smallest political quiz, which I'll be wearing, and I'll be handing out information, giving people a quiz to see where they fall on the political spectrum. Because you may find out that you're more of a libertarian than you may have realized in the past. I think people typically realize, hey, I'm a libertarian, I didn't even know it. So I'll be informing people about that, and we're also looking for people to help pass petitions for us during the petitioning, which will be from July 12th to August 23rd, I believe.
Yeah.
They have to be submitted. So we'll be looking for some help getting signatures in our neighborhoods and in our districts.
Yeah, and just to be clear, it's not just Drew that needs help. We have 3 candidates running, and they're in separate districts. So, you know, each one of us needs to get our signature requirement in the individual district. It doesn't matter where you live, you know, as long as you're registered to vote in New York State, you can help us pass petitions. And in every case, I believe there is no Republican on the ballot.
That's what I think so too. I think that's true. I looked into this, and our 3 districts are all border each other, so we're sort of like the Libertarians in the south of the city. What's that?
Contiguous. Yes, contiguous as
that's the term. Yeah.
As the saying
But I
goes.
think that's going to get us some attention from the media, hopefully, because that's what we really need to run a good campaign. You know, they need to pay attention to us. So I think that will be one of the things, as well as that if we don't run, then the Democrats are unopposed.
Right.
So support us if you don't like the Democrats, even though I might like the Democrats on a lot of the similar issues that we do hold in common. But we definitely need some support, and we need to encourage people from our districts to come out and support us and help us out.
Yeah, so if you want a choice on the ballot, if you believe democracy means having more than one choice when you go in the voting booth, you might want to help us pass the petitions. And it's a good learning experience if you want to have anything to do with politics and want to see how it goes, and it's fun, and you know, and you meet, it's fun, and you meet people, and it's really a good time. I do it every 2 years myself. So anyway, we're almost out of time. Again, as Drew said, rochesterlp.net. If you look on the left, there's a link to the candidates page. I know my picture is a little old and not too good. I'll have that updated. But you know, you can go and check us out. You can find out you know, what our websites are, and you know, what we're running for and all that stuff.
If you haven't yet, register to vote, because it's very important. We need to get people voting. We need to get them to the voting booths. And you can register as a Libertarian by checking the other category and writing in Libertarian.
Yeah. So anyway, website at the bottom of the screen. Visit us, visit it. Let us know what you think. We'll see you next time.
Did you know Freedom Rocs has swag? You can help stimulate the economy and show how much you like Freedom Rocs at the same time. We've got t-shirts for men and women. We've got coffee mugs and beer steins. We've got food and beverage thermoses. You can get your own Freedom Rocs swag with the show logo, as seen in the opening title of the show, right here at our Cafe Press shop. That's cafepress.com/freedomrocs.